Does any of this sound familiar? Your hunting buddy had to bail from your hunt for one reason or another, or the person you've been hunting with just isn't working out. Or you're either a current solo hunter or possibly a new elk hunter not wanting to head out alone this season. Look, y'all, for all of these folks in these situations, they're experiencing the one thing that can be tougher than finding a doggone elk. And that is finding a great or just solid elk hunting partner. Well, y'all, let's just see if our coaching crew has any opinions on that subject right there. On today's show, a great elk hunting partner. Just what does that mean? And where the heck can I find one? Those topics, along with our ElkBros shoutouts and questions from our ElkBros mailbox. So my friends, pull up a chair, adjust your volumes just right, and welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunting.
Welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunting, brought to you by ElkBros.com, with your host Gilbert Ornelas and elk hunting coach Joe Gillia. You want to hunt elk? They live to hunt elk. Their goal is to share with you what they have learned grinding it out for over 35 seasons, doing what they love. So come on into camp and set a spell. Welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunters.
Hello there, everyone. If it's your first time with us, glad to have you. Hope you enjoy our show. And as always, for those blue collar hunters following our show and grinding it out with us every week, welcome back to Elk Camp. I'm Gilbert Ornelas, the host of your show, coming to you live from Spring, Texas, and from Katy, Texas, and the DFW area. That's right. We've got the Venezuelan Mafia in the house. Luis Gonzalez and Manano Grateron. And from Cimarron, your elk hunting coaches are in the house. Leroy, the Ninja Chavez, and WWJGD. What would Joe Gillia do? He is in the house, and we are live and in charge tonight, fellas. What's going on?
What's up, brothers?
Going on, Bigo?
It's going to be another great show, guys. I'm telling you right now. From having Tony Wintrip on to doing what we're going to do tonight, I can't wait. It was going to be hard to beat old Tony Wintrip and the big guitar that he's been playing, man. That was so cool to have him on last week.
Oh, it was sweet, man. And you know what? Tony is just so friggin' awesome. He fit right in with us. It was like, dude, you know.
He's a great hunter, too.
Oh, incredible. And, yeah. I mean, his whole demeanor, his knowledge base, all the things that he's done over on that side over there. And
hello in camp.
Hey, we got
Sean.
Yeah,
what's going on, dude?
Happening, fellas.
What? We got the man,
cool,
the legend.
Hey, man.
SD's in the house.
Surprise.
Dawson is in the house. Somebody
Salud, bro.
walking outside of elk camp and just decided to step in, bud.
Yeah. That's what that was what the plan was there. All the way up here from Independence, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Wow. Nice job. Sean, how you doing tonight, brother?
Heck, I can't complain one bit, guys.
Joe didn't tell us Jack T. Wadley that he was coming on.
Nothing. What's a surprise, man?
Yeah.
Oh,
hell of a surprise, Joe.
Well, he just wanted to jump in to say a little hello. And, we did not have a video shout out tonight. And, Sean is just such a tremendous person. I mean, how many times have I seen this guy? He will find people that he believes in or people that are really trying to aspire to become good elk hunters. He jumps up and he buys and purchases a base camp for people. He's just, dude, you're just such a giving person, man. And I mean, he's so
we appreciate it, Sean.
Hunting, so I thought it was.
And look, man, I'd have had a hell of a lot better intro for you if Joe would have told me something. He just decided to spring it on me, man. I kind of really blew up old Tony Wintrip when we got him on, But we're gonna have to come up with some kind of wild Wisconsin maniac or something. Sean Dawson is in the house,
Yeah, but he's only recently a Wisconsin boy. This is a Dakota boy here.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So I was in the Dakotas there in your guys' line of work for a pretty good amount of time. I ran a oil field service company. So we had roustabouts and we did a lot of the dirt work and the motor graders and all that stuff. And
where at, Sean?
We were based out of this tiny little town called Mandaree. It's in the Bakken.
Yeah.
Like
Know
if
where
you,
it's at.
yeah. So like if you know, think of like Williston's here, Newtown's here.
Yeah.
I'm about here, right underneath Newtown, right on the river. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Below
beautiful
Killdeer?
area. Phew.
North of Killdeer.
North of
that.
Killdeer.
And I'm not going to let Sean get away with all this where we're being real nice to him and everything. This dude has found a way to blur out his background. I want you to know that behind him, he's got about a 4-foot dollhouse back there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, kind of, we've been remodeling.
Hey,
this.
Joe's
I
letting
tell
me
you
out,
what, bro.
dude.
I
You in
tell
the
you what,
dog
bro.
room, man?
I'm gonna defend Sean here because Sean has a freaking V3 Matthews bow, and he's on a
Right.
search for badass arrows. And I'll tell you what, he's even looking into taper shafts and all that stuff, man. So I mean, he can get away with that dollhouse in the
Anybody that
background for all I
joins
care.
anybody that joins the Matthews team is good on my book, man. Them boys that shoot Hoyts, man, I don't know about them, man.
Touch and go. I think them Hoyts like to blow up fletchings a lot.
hey, all I know is my original Hoyt has 15 notches in it. So,
Yeah, scoreboard. Joe's already gone scoreboard
Yeah.
on us, man.
yeah.
He,
See?
he ain't letting us get away
It's
from
like,
that.
Look at the scoreboard, boys. Look at
Yeah. Look at my scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at there.
Well, I got a little bit of scoreboard behind me right there, but Joe got to take credit for that too.
That googly eye there.
I want, the googly eye, man. Yeah.
That's it. That's the googly eye bull right there.
Joe's taking credit. Joe takes credit for all of them, man.
No doubt, man. Look
I
at
would
that.
too.
Look at that.
Yep.
That's Luis's.
Called that bull in.
Hey, you know what's funny is I don't have it back yet. My first elk is basically accredited to you guys as well, because I know for a fact that if I hadn't found your guys' podcast and you guys were just starting out, I mean, it was like the way it worked into itself was I was looking for some information, and then I was kind of didn't know anything. My brother says, hey, check out some podcasts, maybe you find something. And then first thing I saw was Blue Collar Elk, and I was like, hey, guess what I am? I'm not anything more than that. Yeah. So started listening to you guys. I just sucked all the information like a sponge and just grabbed. And then
It's cool, bro.
Oh man, it would be awesome if you could give Manano some tips on how you did that.
That would be awesome.
I'm pretty sure that you guys are a little more talented than I am when it comes to that.
No, I'm not actually. I know how to make paella and
Yeah, that's something gonna keep you well fed. I promise you.
Yeah,
And
some
Manano
menudo.
is 100%. He's 3 for 3, y'all. So
Yeah.
there ain't no
Can't mess with the mafia, brother.
Not me. Oh, good news. Just found out this evening, Montana, I got my license. So we drew as a group. My group.
Yeah.
To the bone,
that's
dude.
an
Oh,
awesome.
congrats, man.
Wow.
John, y'all in Grizzly country?
Congratulations.
Kind of on the edge. I know you guys, my story of coming up on a bear coming in while we're like putting the meat strap to our backs.
Yeah.
That was pretty terrifying. And like my brother saying, hey, there's a bear. None of us believing him because, he's just a constant joker.
Right.
And like then looking up and thinking, oh my Lord, there is a bear, like maybe 50 yards. No more than 50 yards.
Oh,
And yeah.
you just wanted to be sure you weren't the guy with the meat on your pack.
Yeah, shoot the guy with the meat on the pack.
The
Yeah.
last one in line. You wanted to be the first one.
Yeah. And we had one bow and 3 canisters of bear spray.
Wow.
Yeah, I might have
That's
saved
it.
myself with that bear spray so I wouldn't worry about all the eating he was going to do.
Yeah. But you've never seen like it was four Flatlanders run up a mountain as fast as we did.
Yeah, man.
You want to talk about
Yeah.
pure motivation? It was like a hive of bees chasing you.
I told you boys, man, Bear's got a pass with me. One saved
But-
my life. He decided he wasn't going to eat my fat ass. And I'm telling you, they get a pass for life.
Yeah.
Another reason I wanted to pull Sean on here too is that guys, our show tonight has been inspired from questions and comments we get from our listeners. You know, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Collar Elk Hunting Podcast, from elk hunters, by elk hunters, for the elk hunter, right?
Definitely.
So, what inspired the show today were letters that I've been getting. And, you know, Sean, you have an incredible circle. I mean, you got, you know, you hunt with your brother, cousin, right? And
Yep, and my cousin. Yep.
Right?
And then
And-
friends and good friends that we bring with us. Everyone.
yeah, and I mean, it's solid group, right? You know,
Yeah.
you got that chemistry. And, you know, that's one of the things that we're talking about, because I get so many letters all the time from people that are like, I want to hunt with a partner, or I just lost my partner. They just bailed on me. And this happens so much where people, you know, they draw a tag like you guys did, and all of a sudden the guy they're going to go with says, can't make it, you know. And real life happens. That stuff happens. But guys are like, well, where and how do I find a partner? Well, I've been getting these letters so much, and we're going to announce it on this show, because by the time you guys hear this, it's going to be out. But we have just put an addition to our website. You can go to our website, go up to the top menu, and click on Hunting Buddy. And you're going to go to huntingbuddy.elkbros.com. And it is a site where you can put in your profiles, and we have all kinds of things on the profile that are about what hunters do, right? And that, you know, as far as personalities and habits and different things. And that way people, it's a interface for people to find other elk hunting partners, people that think like them. You develop some friendships. It is.
You guys can look me up. I'm the mafia leader.
And I think, Sean, how did you
Self-proclaimed leader.
I think you described it as the match.com for elk hunters. Is that
Yeah, that's what I called it. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I told him Farmers Only's got it going on. We need to go ahead, elkmatch.com. Something, man.
Heck yeah.
it's
Man.
called Hunting Buddy. It's Hunting Buddy. It's ElkBros Hunting Buddy.
Right.
And I encourage everybody out there that's listening,
I'm gonna need to change my.
go create a profile when it's ready. As soon as you hear this, go create a profile. Let's build that community, so that, because everybody knows somebody, and it's that ripple effect, and it's that web, and everybody knows somebody that
Network.
might be in a situation that they could use somebody to hunt with. So but tonight, man,
Yeah, I gotta quit hunting. I gotta quit hunting with Luis. I'm gonna be the first subscriber.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You can come up here and hunt with me. We just snowed an inch this morning.
Yes, bro.
Sean, you do me a big favor, bro, but I won't take him back.
They're going to send him back, man. Hell, they going to get too fat hunting around that cat. You cooking for everybody.
and I tell you, man, it's like I saw Luis's, and Luis has already put on there, because you can say, like, you know, what type of partner you're looking for. Luis said, I'm looking for an elk camp cook. Is that
A dumb, strong cook.
oh my God, man.
Of course, Sean, you know what? He ain't put that out on our blog, you know, between all of us 5 seconds, man. And I didn't say, "Look, Joe, look what I put in. Look who they sent me that was going to be able to hunt with me, man." Joe will have to send you the picture that I sent him on the people that it told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, look, man, think about it, Joe. A dumb, strong cook. That's it. You know, it's dumb. It won't argue with you. You will always be right. Strong. It'll help you carry, you know, your packs, your gear, your elk, and all that stuff. And then you'll come to camp, and they'll be cooking. The perfect partner, bro.
Yeah, and until it's late and you need to have a conversation, man. So,
No, it's all good. I can call y'all on the
Point
phone.
and grunt. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, and Manano almost had all of them. He's just not strong enough.
well, you know,
Strong like bull.
Well, like, you bring up a great point, Luis, because that was the cool thing in developing this, and why this is ending up being a podcast tonight, because it's a great conversation about, well, if we could look at like our own personality set and then find somebody just like our personality, is that somebody we want to hunt with?
It might not be the case.
Well, this is why we're going to have this conversation here in a little bit, because I think there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of dynamics as to what makes a good or a great hunting partner, because what's great for you, Sean, might not be great for me, right?
But I can tell you, if you were my hunting partner, whatever you said, I would just think, okay.
Well, that's what we all do, Sean. So, I mean, you fit right in, bro.
That's like,
we're going to climb that cliff? Hey, if you say so, let's do it.
And then you're going to start going circles.
It's good to see you have the intentions, Sean, but physically, sometimes it's not possible.
Yeah, you got to be in good shape.
Hey, round is the shape, Sean. I'm going to tell you straight up, bud.
Yeah.
You hear a bull 8 miles away, you might as well
Just
get
one
your
question.
on or
Just one
sit down and cry.
Just one question to Sean. Sean, if it was late in the day and you heard an elk go off 2 miles away, would you tell me that you heard an elk?
Hell no.
How late in the day?
How late?
Will that matter? I mean, do we have a shot
That's a great
of actually
question.
getting there? I hunt until, like, the way we hunted last year, we just, when it was dark and we couldn't see anymore, we stopped, sat down, threw our tent out, and we slept in our tent.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's boom.
Yep.
Right there, man.
Yeah,
And we woke up, and then we did it all over again.
when we saw
day,
the
great
sun
day.
right above the horizon and we heard an elk, Manano and I got
We were like,
selective hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't believe you guys, man. Hey,
I got a rule too, Sean. A mile. If he's within 3/4 of a mile, I might be able to get there. So if he's any further than that, and and not uphill. Of course, where we hunt, it's uphill both ways, like up and down.
all the time.
and Sean, just so we can hold it for later on when we get in our conversation, because you're going to jump out with us here in a few minutes, but so that we have that. Tell me, if you had to describe what it was about your group that made it work in a short sentence or a blurb here, what would you say that is?
I would say it is, like, if you just take the core of me and my brother and my cousin, and you look at it, like, my brother is a very aggressive person. He's got a personality that's just jump at it and go. And then my cousin's a very thoughtful person. He kind of analyzes everything behind the scenes, and I take both sides on either way. So I fit really good right in the middle of that. And everybody else that we bring along is either one of these three kind of people. And it's a pretty good culmination, I mean, 18 days is usually what we end up spending with each other, and we haven't wrung the neck yet.
So I need a degree of separation between me and Manano is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We both could be both
sense.
the leader of the Venezuelan Mafia, so therefore you both are going to clash heads every time. It's like,
Yeah.
Bro, you have no
So you got
idea.
the northern Don and you got the southern Don.
yeah.
You
It is
have
what it is.
no idea. It's like, oh, the wind's blowing east. No, the wind is coming from the west.
That's why
Straight
he's
Laurel
asking
and
for
Hardy
a
in
Dom
the
cook.
freaking woods, dude.
You see, he's asking for a Dom cook.
Yeah, and I got it. I just don't have a
I'm
strong
really
one.
smart. So I argue with him because I'm really smart.
Because I'm really smart.
But we're going to hold on.
He's recognizing publicly.
That you're not strong enough.
No,
We're going to hold on to this dynamic because they don't really going to get into it, man. So, Gilbert, let's rock, man.
Guys, y'all know what time it is. It's time for our ElkBros shout-outs. If you're new to our show, this is just shout-out to a few cities with the most listeners topping our charts this week.
Absolutely, man. First, like we always do, man, want to thank those people giving us those incredible reviews on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Jim Jones from Eden Rapids, Michigan. And he put in his review that he loves Luis's questions. because he was like, it was really great to hear somebody. He's always asking the questions I'm thinking, so that was one thing he really liked there. And
Thank you, brother. We'll
and
try
you
to
know-
keep up the pace here for you, man.
And one thing is, Jim, is that he's been soaking it all up, and because he's been soaking up everything from the podcast, he says his confidence is really gone, and he's going to be going back out in 2022, and he's so excited about that. And there's definitely confidence from Knowledge Jim, man. So we just keep rocking that.
That's
and
right.
then we have Craig Klein, and Craig says he likes how we present our info in an easy and entertaining way. And I tell you one thing for sure, we're pretty simple, Craig. It ain't going to get complicated.
No. Not until we get off. Not till you go to Luis's YouTube channel and watch him make arrows, man.
Yeah.
That gets complicated.
Well,
Right here.
That's a good video for get to sleep.
That's a good video for to get to sleep.
Oh, Lord.
also, remember, grinders, you can be part of the show and send a 15 to 20-second shout-out video through a message on our ElkBros Instagram or email me at joe@elkbros.com that you have a clip, and I'll send you a link to our Dropbox. Sean, before we get into our cities, we want you to give a shout-out before you boom out of here, man.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I'm pretty new to this where I live now, but I looked up some history. So in 1876, a man by the name of David Kelly gathered everybody in the area because he needed to raise $5,000 so they could put a train depot in here, so that way they could create more commerce in this small area. So once the land was purchased, he named the town around the depot Independence because it was the centennial year of the United States.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
And that's in
cool.
Independence, Wisconsin.
Independence.
Deal.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And dude,
Where the cheese flows like the wines of Capistrano.
Hell of a deal.
yeah. And Bud, we want to thank you for who you are. We really appreciate you, what you do.
All the support.
Thanks for coming on the show, brother.
We're looking forward to your future successes, and we're looking.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually meet you guys out in camp one day when I come in and actually say hello from camp.
Be
Amen,
awesome.
I
bro.
need my paella and my picanha.
There you go.
You love it, brother.
Hey,
I appreciate all the comments.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Sean.
Thank
So
you,
much
guys.
for the support, Sean.
yep. Have a
Thank
great
you,
evening.
Sean, and stay in touch, brother.
See you.
Peace. God bless.
Blur.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sean.
guys. Now for our top listening cities. Gilbert, you're up, man.
This week's top listening city had to actually up and move the whole daggum city back in the 1960s. This community in northeastern Oregon lies along the banks of the Columbia River and along Interstate 84. It's a major hub for transportation, and the town motto is on the river, on the way. But the original city was up and moved south in the 1960s when the John Day Dam was built. And that was a good thing that this site now lies below the depths of Lake Umatilla in none other than Boardman, Oregon.
Boardman, Oregon. Yeah.
Lake
That sounds like a movie I've seen where everybody had to leave a city because, it was getting ready to flood out the whole area.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's Umatilla or Umatilla.
Well,
Don't know.
in Spanish, what would it be?
Umatilla?
Umatilla,
Yeah,
right?
he's got it.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what Umatilla means?
Matilla is, I don't know.
It could be a native in that area. I would think it's a Native American name
Yeah,
Probably.
Umatilla.
in that area.
All right, next up, this top listening city is known for its gambling.
Like it already.
Rhythm,
I like it already.
yeah, rhythm and blues music and excellent cuisine. It serves as the educational center of the southwest portion of Louisiana. The city is a petrochemical refining area and features casino gambling, home to McNeese State University and the Sowella Technical Community College. It's often called the Lake area, the lake area. And that would be Lake Charles, Louisiana. Man, Lake Charles, Louisiana, they sure taking a hit this past year with them hurricanes, man. Sorry to see that.
Yep. In a tough
Have you ever
year
been there
for Lake
before,
Charles.
Lake Charles?
Many
No,
days.
I have not.
Many days I spent in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Fishing.
Oh, well, fishing and then just working or driving through Lake Charles. I mean, if you've ever been to Lafayette or NOLA or any of that, you're going to go through Lake Charles.
So you didn't go there to gamble?
You know, I've been there a couple times. That's to La Berge a lot. Yeah, I've been there to La Berge a couple times. You bet. Took customers there and whatnot.
Gilbert, so you a gambler, Gilbert?
You know, man, I watched a whole lot of people lose a lot of money, Joe. You know, I work hard for mine. I ain't about to give it away because I'm dumb. You know, people that go to gambling, you know, they're there to make money, Joe. They're not there to lose money. So most of the time, no, I don't gamble a whole lot. If I do, I'll take, you know, $500 or something like that, and that's it for the weekend. You know, that's my gambling money, or maybe $200 or whatever it may be. But you know, I've won some money. I like to play blackjack, so you know, I've won some money gambling a little bit, but I don't gamble a whole lot, man.
I'm not a gambler, man. I like to play poker. I like Texas Hold'em, and I have to go to a gambling house to play poker. But I think that poker's a skill set. I don't think it's
for sure.
No.
For sure, it's a skill set.
Absolutely, man. What about you, Manano? You like to play any of that poker? Or
No,
push those
I
buttons?
don't. The only gamble I go is with Luis. That's a gamble. You go out. That's a gamble. When you go out with him, oh my God.
He's always losing,
Oh my
All
Lord.
right.
just like any gambling.
Okay, up next, this city in Wyoming is known as the home of 56 nationalities because of the influx of immigrants from all over the world who came to work in the coal mines that supplied the fuel to power the steam engines of the Union Pacific Railroad. It's home to Wyoming's Big Show, a huge Western yearly event with 8 days of carnival, concerts, and team roping events. And that's in Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Rock Springs, Wyoming in the house.
Yeah.
Springs.
Hello, all those listeners in Rock Springs. Hey, guys, thanks for checking us out, man. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Following along.
All right. This next top listening city in southwestern North Carolina is a suburb of Charlotte. It was originally called Stumptown because of the large amount of tree stumps that were removed to make room for cotton farms. It was named after local businessman and director of the Central Carolina Railroad, which eventually became the Seaboard Airline Railroad. This is going for Matthews, North Carolina.
Matthews, North Carolina, man.
Matthews, North Carolina.
So we've gone from Oregon to Louisiana, back up to Rock Springs, and now over to North Carolina.
Went to West Coast, to the Southern Coast, and straight out to the East Coast.
And we're getting ready to go up the East Coast.
Exactly.
Wait a second. I better get this right because sometimes I get all that wrong. But we're going to go up the East Coast to a Washington that I never knew existed, man. As a kid, I was always confused between Washington, D.C. and Washington State, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is another Washington, Virginia. This entire town, not 10 or 20 houses, but this entire town is listed on the National Register of Historic Places as an historic district. Located in the eastern foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains near the Shenandoah National Park, it's more like an English village than a town. Its population is less than 150 people, not including 2 horses, 1 llama, a flock of sheep, and a dozen or so chickens. Who the chickens actually live in an ornate chicken house with stained glass windows in the historic district that was built back in the 1800s. And this is Little Washington, Virginia.
Little Washington, Virginia in the house. Straight up East Coast right there, Joe.
And they called it Little Washington because it was so small, but it's only 70 miles from Big Washington, D.C. So they had Big Washington and Little Washington.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's go to tonight's subject, and we already kind of alluded to it a little bit, and we're talking about a great elk hunting partner, and what does that really mean, man?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask each one of you, and I'm going to start with the youngest of the group. Okay,
That's gonna be me.
that'd be you. All right. And let me ask you, Manano, if you had all the information on someone before you moved forward with a partnership, a hunting partner, okay, what would you be looking for?
Well, first of all, I have to feel really comfortable to go out with somebody that I don't know, and of course, I mean that person must be a person that I trust somehow.
Your audio stuttered there for a second, but I'm gonna call you out, bro. I don't believe you. So, because if I remember the story correctly, your wife, Ana Karina, was telling you about a cousin of hers that
2 years.
that
2 years. She
that
was.
liked to hunt, right?
Yeah.
So
But he was a.
Think about all the time you wasted, bro.
He didn't jump on it when he first heard about it. He took 2 years.
2 years just hearing my wife, hammering me, hey, call Luis, he's a great shooter, he's a hunter. And I said, he's not a hunter.
Why wasn't he a hunter, man?
He hunt with shotguns and rifles and for rabbits and little birds and stuff. That's not a hunter, bro.
That's not.
He was not a big game hunter with a bow, right, Manano?
Yeah.
So Manano, you said if what you're looking for in a partnership, somebody you can go with, you said it'd be somebody you have to trust and somebody you felt comfortable with. So
Yeah,
is that how it was when you went the first time with Luis?
No, but actually, we have a conversation. We had a conversation.
Counselor, yes or no? Yes.
No, but we had a long conversation, and turns out that that Anna told me, hey, he knows everybody, and he's a good friend of your friends and stuff. And then we had a conversation, and yeah.
And he knew Jose Crispy. Knew Crispy, man, he was in.
So yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. I gotta say that. He's a nice guy. So I said, okay, Luis, first of all, go out and buy a bow, and then we can go hunt. And then he went.
I'm sure there were many conversations on leading up to this hunting partnership, right? The feeling out process after y'all went together.
But
look, man, I've known these cats since
seriously.
they started hunting together. And I've seen the evolution of Luis's hunting.
Well, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I originally gave him a question of what he would be looking for. And I think this is a critical point that I want our listeners to hear, man, because a lot of times what we think we're looking for might keep us away from actually meeting somebody that could end up being a lifelong friend. Because here you have Manano say, well, first of all, I'd have to be comfortable with them and I have to trust them. And that wasn't the case necessarily when he met.
Well, I kind of trust him after after I got some referrals. So no, so no, we actually I had that bad situation and bad bad feeling with people out in the woods and people that is not in the same page with you. And that's really uncomfortable, especially if you are hunting with long weekend or people complaining or the expectation. I mean, the very first lesson that I learned back in my country from my father and my uncle was, I mean, it's not about killing something. is just going out, have the ability to escape from home and spend a weekend with your wife and enjoy the nature.
Camaraderie, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's
forwarding this
camaraderie,
podcast to
buddy.
Anna.
Now this is before your dad knew your actual wife. So I mean,
I'm telling you, bro.
no.
I'm sending this.
She knows that. She knows. She's
I'm sending this link
so.
here right
That
after.
was my first lesson that I learned, and after that we had
He was
several.
giving you a way out, bro, and you
situations.
keep digging it in.
I'm an honest guy, Luis. I'm 100% honest.
This stuff about getting away from Anna, but
Yeah.
when we're on the mountain and we have an elk coming in,
Yeah,
You know.
he calls her.
no,
Yeah,
hi,
Yeah. I gotta beat hard.
yeah, you do, bro.
So yeah, we had that situation, an uncomfortable situation with people that you don't know going out, and it seems to be, if you met somebody and he said he's a hunter and he know Beto and he know Luis and stuff, you should know that.
Go by the association of the type.
Yeah, you can associate and you can, probably understand that he's a regular hunter.
Okay, so
in
we're
the
going to
same
stop
page
you
with
right
you.
there, bro. I'm going to hold you because I don't want that to go too far because I have a little bit more questions on that. So let's take that over to the compadre over there, man. And let me ask you, and we're going to step all the way back to the beginning. That you had all the information on somebody, like right now, you're looking for a partner right now, like you need a new strong dumb cook, whatever it is. What?
One word answer.
Oh.
Manano. That's gonna be the answer.
they said you're not
Look for
strong
another
enough.
Manano.
So
Said that you're not strong enough, but that's
what are the
okay.
qualities that you would be looking for, Luis?
So, going back to how I decided to go just on a limb and go to meet Manano the day we were actually going to go hunt.
Well, wait a second. Before you do that, though, did you have any reservations and why?
No, I
Did you
didn't.
have conversations before you?
Yeah, we had a couple phone conversations prior to, and you could kind of pick up on the chemistry over the phone and the familiarity and the commonality and you can kind of feel the vibe of the person, right? And so I never had any doubts.
Couldn't resist.
I really never had any doubts that it was going to be a bad experience. Plus, I'm usually very open the first time, so my personality type is I enter into a friendship or a relationship wide open.
Open, yeah.
And then, depending on what the kind of retribution I get, whether it's good or bad, I stay open or I close up.
Forms his opinion. Yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, that's the way I am. And that's the way I kind of went into meeting Manano, just wide open.
And then
hey,
he opened in 360.
No, now I'm starting to shut down pretty bad. So I mean that's kind of how it went. Plus, like I said, I always go in and try to look the good in people first. That's normally my tendency, and then
Definitely.
as I see things progress, this is how I start. Okay, wait a minute, maybe this is not the honeymoon I thought it was going to be, or whatever, or it is. It stays like that. So. No, right off the bat, I met him and it just completely proved the phone conversations as far as we were kind of very on the same page.
So if Manano moved away today and you had to go look for that next pig hunting partner out there, what qualities
He would die.
for?
Oh man, it would be
Figure out a way to be together.
It'll be a pretty bad day for sure. As much as I hate him, I love him. And so no. But the truth is that the qualities of somebody, I want to make sure that if I'm out in the woods, I can trust my life on that person. That's the kind of trust that I need to have, and that trust is not something that you kind of earn or gain from one day to the other. That trust is built. And you build that by, sharing more and more experiences like that. And that's why you have to go out and try to hunt with different people, invite different people out there and show them. I have a lot of really good friends that have hunt with me and love hunting with them as well. And that's how it was. It's just kind of, hey, here, let me introduce you to this. This is what I love. This is my passion. Seen them grow as well. And I think that trust continues to be built. And I trust those guys with my life. So it's
Luis a quick study too, man. He's very good at assessing situations and also understanding. He can read a book really quick, and he pinpoint a guy pretty quick after first meeting him, whether he knows that guy's of that ilk or not.
Yeah.
And so. But
yeah,
I get where he's coming from.
No, I agree with you, but I consider myself a strong judge of character.
Very.
But I have.
I fooled all you dudes, man.
But the truth of the matter is, I've known to make mistakes. Believe it or not, Manano.
Yeah. Look, you and I have talked about those mistakes, guys that you've hunted with, and we're like, oh my God, what have I done here? You know? And for me, Joe, it's about 100%. I gotta like you, and I for years my business was taking guys hunting and fishing, clients, but I didn't hunt with people I didn't like. I just wouldn't do it. I gotta trust you. I got a loaded weapon with me, with you behind that loaded weapon. Look, I've been shot on hunting trips. I mean, seriously, this is something that you really got to dive into and understand.
Take seriously.
100%. Your life seriously. So like I said, when you're in bear country or you're in wolf country or, you slinging shotguns or arrows or whatever it may be, man, you got your life in that guy. And you got your hand, his life in your hands and your life in his hands. You know?
Absolutely. So,
and another point, going back to my question, Joe, to me, it's a must that I have to be surrounded by good people, big heart people. That's one of the most important, quality of the person that I go out. It's really
unselfish.
It's really important.
Again, say that again for me.
It's really important to have a big heart people around you, good people. Good person. It's really important, because if you have a really picky guy and the food is bad, it's raining, you miss a couple of shots, there's no animals around, the place is pack of hunters.
So you're the negative vibe is what you think.
Because good people, man, that term is so relative. Everybody thinks they're good people.
Yeah.
but to your point, what and I agree with Manano, is that mentality of being positive, is that mentality of being kind, unselfish, giving, willing to sacrifice and to put in, think of the team in general. I agree.
And enjoy everybody else's kill.
Yeah, they're
the same way I enjoy mine.
Would you enjoy yours?
So to me, it's more important to fulfill their expectation than mine.
But this is all said and good, for once you have, like you said, once you have some experience with that person. But that skill set of being a good judge of character, as far as in a conversation, or what type of things would give a person up that you would know about that. Before we get into that too deep, though, I know Chav traveled all the way up on the mountain this year to be with this group, and it was a huge goal of his. He didn't have a hunting license, didn't have a bow. Went up there, and it was hard for you, bro. And went up there and froze your butt off. And I think you came more than for just the steak, man. So
Well,
Big
the
party.
steak had a lot to do with it. Come on.
That daggum meat will
Got
drive
to
you up
see
there.
elk again. You got to see elk again.
And hear him.
Yeah, that 5-star restaurant up there in the hills was a big draw. Just the opportunity to hear and see the elk. But I enjoy being around people that enjoy a good have fun. Have fun, and you can sense if a person is honest and reliable and all that in just a few conversations. And I think one thing we have going for us is the fact that it's like the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all. And that's all aspects of the grind. If you enjoy hunting, you got to enjoy all aspects of the grind. And that means, staying up, getting up early, which is tough for, I think, all of us, except Joe. He can get up at 2:00 in the morning, no problem. But,
I hate that.
Getting up early and, staying out late, that's important. And be ready to hike. And like the guy said, I know there were times in the past where, I was getting hungry, I was getting tired, it was getting dark. We didn't have the fancy GPSs and all that. And I would hear an elk. And I said, well, I thought I heard an elk, but I'm not going to tell him. Because my stomach has got to be fed. But, and I think all the guys in our group respect nature and respect the hunt. Respect prey. The animals that we hunt. There's a respect there
And each
for them.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
huge respect.
I don't know if we're going into the minuses.
Well, we are going to hit those here in a minute, but here's some of my thoughts, and here's what I want people to really think about, because a lot of the things that you guys just talked about, the love, the passion, somebody that you can trust your life with.
So you all stop there. You all please listen carefully, because he's open his chest, telling you all what he needs to be out of people. So this is gonna be interesting, Joe. Go ahead.
Well, the thing that I want to point out is that the guy that is kind of responsible for this group, if you had ever called him on the telephone and said, hello, Mr. Gamage, or if
What would you say?
if you would have ever met him, walking up to him in the woods, maybe even, or if you told him, you didn't like the way he ran a camp, or
That wouldn't be something you'd want to say.
the thing I want to tell you is that I think that personality traits
Attract.
all right, so let's take a look at this group dynamic right here. Right, what makes this group work? Because when we start looking at personality types, right, I'm an A personality type, right? Gilbert's an A personality type. Luis is he's kind of that AB intellectual work. He's like tofu, man. And Manano's very B oriented. Chav's very B oriented. And if for those of y'all that don't understand those personality types, just take a look at me and Chav, right?
Yin and yang.
You wouldn't find, we're total yin and yang, man. When it comes to personality, but when it comes to our thought processing, or I don't even know if it's thought processing, because we might come to the same point in a different way.
Teamworking.
How we view things, our viewpoints, the things that are important to us, our value system. So when you start bringing that into the mix, a lot of times, sometimes you got to get through the personality to see the value. So tell us a little bit about your first conversation with Carl Gamage there, buddy.
Man, look, so, I wanted to go on a real live elk hunt, real Western elk hunt, the real deal. Really good friend of mine, Terry Bartees, my taxidermist. Terry told me, I got a guy for you who's Ronnie Bartees' best friend. He's in New Mexico, runs a world-class operation, but you got to be qualified to go on that hunt. And he goes, so you're going to have to call him. He don't do email. He don't do none of that other stuff. Straight up on the phone. And believe me, when you talk to him, he's a little rough around the edges, man.
A little rough around the edges. It's like a badger with a bad tooth, man.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Well, so I'm an oil field guy. I'm used to dealing with cranky ass oil field superintendents and company men at the drilling rig site. They've been up for 24 hours, ain't had no sleep in 3 days. They got a wildcat up their ass that's about to blow them up, So I'm used to dealing with guys that have personality traits that are, I would say,
Unconventional.
very unconventional, right? So when I called him on the phone, Carl Gamage answered. He said, "Hello." I mean, that's straight up. Not custom hunting services, Carl here. No. Hello. I said, Mr. Gamage. I said, my name is Gilbert Ornelas, and I got your name from Terry Bartee. I want to come on a bow hunt, hunting elk. And he said, "Hell, you say?" I said, what do you say to that? I'm like,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. That's, Terry told me to call you. He said, you know Terry Bartee? I said, yes, sir. He said, I'll be calling him in a minute. I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying to buy an elk hunt from this cat, and then, man, he just lit me up about crap he don't do. I don't do assholes. I don't do this. I don't do that. Can you do this? Can you do that? He said, everybody thinks they're a bow hunter until they get up here, and everything they know runs out the crack of their ass by the time they're done here, I'm like, oh my, and I'm being a little unleashed here, but that's straight up Carl Gamage, right? And I absolutely loved him. He reminded me a lot of my grandfather. And my grandfather was a hard man, but a fair guy and loved life. Carl Gamage was the epitome of that.
And that's really, that's the thing that I want to make, because if you ever met Carl out there, I mean, this guy came across like he had a crust on him about a foot thick, but yet he'd sit out there and he'd start talking about kids. He'd start talking about
loved
young
kids.
people and the outdoors and stuff, and man, it's like things just melted away, and you got to see this he had the heart the size of Texas,
Definitely.
and was incredibly giving. And I got news for you: if you were going to go through heck with a handbasket, you wanted him on your side, man, because
if I'm fighting hell with a water pistol, Carl Gamage is right in my hip pocket.
Absolutely. So that's
how this group got put together, right? Yeah. I met Joe Giglia on an elk hunt, and R.C. Knox, Kent Miller, I want to say Ross Miller, met the great Bob Hederman, who's got an unbelievable voice for what he does for us on the show. Met him, met so many good people at elk camp. And then, things changed. Carl lost his lease, and, Carl started doing some other things, and then, man, the rug was pulled out from under us on an October evening when Joe Giglia called me on the phone and told me that one of my very good friends, I elk hunted with Carl for 5 years, I think, maybe 6, and that Carl had passed away, and it might as well been my own daddy, very tough thing. Joe and I talked a couple days after that, and we were dead set on keeping our group together and elk hunting because we liked it. We liked the vibe, and I think a little bit of it was kumbaya for sure, but we loved the vibe, man. We loved how each other went about elk hunting. Joe was helping me, number one, get my crap together and get in better health, and work on being a better dad and a better person.
I'm going to interrupt you there. I could never have helped you to be a better dad because you were an incredible father.
I appreciate that.
I wanted you to stick around and be there for those kids.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the other things, if y'all have listened to any of the reflection series on Western Contours podcast, or where you can really hear the heart of what came out of that elk hunting camp and helped me change my life forever.
Sure.
You know? So I can never, ever repay this group with what it's meant to me, these guys, right? Joe Gillia, Leroy, Chavez. I mean, and then the two Venezuelan guys that have come into our life because of elk hunting. I met Luis on a drilling rig in North Dakota, man, and up in the wilds of North Dakota. I mean, there was nothing out there but us, and then our relationship transcended from there to personal relationship, right? And then the whole time he's telling me about his really good buddy Manano, and for me, I endear Luis so much because he's such a quality character guy, right? So for me, if that guy is a friend of Luis's, he's my brother. It's the same way with you in Chav, Joe. If that's your brother, well, immediately he's my brother. Right. Because at the end of the day, we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Totally opposite on some things, but doesn't mean that we can't be together on a lot of things, right? But at the end of the day, we respect one another, beliefs, religion, politics, all that crap, we respect it. Might not agree, but we respect each other and we love one another. But that didn't come without some molding and some time being together. Luis and I hunted a lot of days together before we ever went elk hunting, right? And again, I knew Luis was of my kind of ilk, of my kind of guy that I knew that he was down with me. If it went down, Luis was going to stand at my back and fight hell with that water pistol. And that's the feeling that I think these guys that are looking for an elk hunting partner or for a hunting partner to begin with, it's a brotherhood, man.
Well, I think a lot of people would just like to have somebody that's willing to go and, because there can be other things that, like, for example, if I'm somebody that wants to have camp on my back and go back 20 miles, but you're somebody that's like, heck no, I don't want that, man. I mean,
we ain't hunting together, Joe.
Yeah, we ain't hunting together.
Not until we find a middle ground or something,
Right.
Lots of conversations need to be had before y'all get in the woods together.
That's absolutely right. That's why these are some of the things that, when we're doing something like what we're doing with Hunting Buddy, man, I want people to be able to go on there, but I also want you to understand that when you look at the black and white, when you look at a personality type, that doesn't always mean that you want somebody like yourself to hunt with, man, right? So, and you said something like, he had good character, right? So a lot of people, I mean, that's a very dynamic, broad term right there. And, Chav, how would you define a person of good character that you want to be around with? I mean, because you've hung with me for a bunch of years, and I'm a little on the rogue side, and I'm a little outlaw at times. But you hang with me.
He's a ninja. He can see through the skin and bones.
I think he can reel you back in too, Joe.
Well, I think a lot of it is accepting people for who they are. Because we're all different. All five of us are different, and we all have our little idiosyncrasies and stuff, and it's something that you kind of adjust to. And but the main thing is it's a group that likes to have fun, but yet put the time in to succeed at what we do. And we take safety serious. Some people don't. Mm-hmm. I know we joke about hearing an elk bugle late in the night or late in the afternoon and not wanting to let Joe know. But the reality is, if he says let's go, we're going. We're going. We're going to do the grind. So I just think we have a group that stays positive, and I know there's we've had 2 or 3 days in a row where we haven't even seen an elk, but in the back of our minds, we know that if we just keep grinding, we're gonna locate something, and it's who you're with that makes a big difference. You know, you have to believe.
Yeah,
And,
agree 100%, Chav. Keep going, brother.
Oh, I'm not sure where I was heading, but I think everybody in the group's pretty selfless. I know some partners from other groups may kill an elk and they're done. They stay.
That individual's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the individual's done. He's not part of the group anymore. He's pretty much at camp, drinking or doing whatever, or maybe he's gone back home. He doesn't hang around to help the rest of his group finish their hunts. And that's what I like about our group is, everybody pulls their own weight. And if they're done early and, some of you guys get done pretty quick, you still keep hunting, help the rest of the group. So I like that. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty tough. I think if you're going to look for a hunting partner, talk to them more than one time,
Yeah.
Like even us, when we split up, we have a general area we're going to hunt. And if we know that Joe and Manano and Luis are in this area, we just don't want to go in that area, even if we do hear something, because we don't want to interfere with the hunt. And I know in the past, we've had some friends that went with us, and they interfered in a couple of hunts, and that's not a good thing either. So, if there's a plan, you kind of have to stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've brought, let's see, 5 guys. And all of them, if they called tomorrow, I think Joe would say, yeah, if we got the numbers right, either one of those guys could come back. They've all been really good guys, extremely hardworking, but we do a good job of managing expectations. Joe does a fantastic job of letting the guys know how the cow eats the cabbage. And these guys know that, man, at the end of the day, we're here for one another.
I think there's 2 things though that I'm hearing out of this, and Luis, you're always real good at paraphrasing stuff, but I hear, because one thing that happens when guys hunt together is they spend a crap load of time together, man. There's the time when you're actively hunting, and there's the times when you're kicking it by a tree. There's times when you're kicking at camp. There's times when you guys, you just have this time where you really get to find out a lot about the person that you're with. So I think communication is huge. Those conversations, I think the more conversations that you have, and it's funny, you have to have a commonality that kind of has a little bit of a friendship before some of those conversations really elicit themselves.
Yeah,
right?
Man. Every one of those guys that I'm talking about are my friends. To this day, I could call any one of them and they'd be here in 5 minutes if I needed them.
But what you just said...
Go ahead, Luis.
What you just said, Joe, is very key. Look, we all have our differences, right? And I think there will be times in which you will kind of face strong differences, with other people, and whether it's for hunting in your life or whatever. But I think it's always key to go back and latch onto those commonalities, onto that friendship, that love, that relationship first, and say, hey, look, listen, I know we don't agree with what's happening right now, and that's okay. We're humans. We don't have to agree on everything. I know that we're very different, opinionated with regards to this specific topic, but we have to start from the foundational base that we're friends, we love each other, and what we want what's best for each other. And even though if we don't agree, we have to at least communicate and understand that we don't agree, and that's okay.
Grinders tuning in, thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Elk Hunting Podcast. Our goal is to share our knowledge and help you flatten that learning curve so that you too can have some of the very same incredible experiences that have given all of us here at ElkBros a lifetime of memories. If you like what you hear or see, you can get all of this information plus so much more from our Base Camp Elk Hunting Training Camp, the first in a series of online courses from our Blue Collar Elk Academy. Our Base Camp Training Camp allows me to use my coaching style and share almost 40 years of elk hunting experiences successfully hunting elk on public lands, as well as over 20 years guiding hunters of all ages and experience levels. This course will be like nothing you have ever experienced in concept and structure, using success-based coaching techniques that will elevate your confidence and skill sets. Our camp will prepare you specifically from that final moment most in your control, those final minutes or seconds the elk is in front of you, backwards through each step and level, allowing you to see, visualize, understand, and relate every coaching point to what lies ahead, the next step, the next thought process, the next success. Because y'all, you've already been there. You know what it looks like. By tapping my 30 years of teaching and coaching experience, our camps are developed considering multiple learning modes with text, visuals, audio, as well as video. And Base Camp will benefit those new to elk hunting all the way to the 10 to 15 year vet. So if you are looking for that one thing to help you fill that tag this year, invest in the most important piece of equipment there is, you and your elk hunting knowledge. You can find the Blue Collar Elk Hunting Academy and the Base Camp Training Camp at ElkBros.com. That's ElkBros.com. Keep dreaming of the screaming, believing in achieving, and most of all, keep grinding.
That's hard to do. It sounds so simple, Joe. It's so freaking hard to do.
It is, but it isn't, because it's like I know what pushes your button. And I know that what upsets you. So I can either choose to upset you, or we can have a conversation.
That's what I try to do all the time, Joe. Find the button and push that button.
He doesn't. He doesn't try. It's his own nature. Does it? He's not
breathes.
So,
yeah.
For our listeners out there, I want you to understand something. If you look at the five of us, we start from, Chav's almost 70, I'm almost 60. Gilbert's in his
early 50s.
Luis is heading up to 45. Manano's right at that 40. So we kind of go down the line like that. All of us have different political, religious viewpoints. We have a lot of commonalities, and especially when it comes to like father figures, and I think that has a big impact with guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of differing opinions because we all get money in our pocket differently. And generally your opinions kind of wrap around a lot of times what puts money in your pocket, right? For a lot of people. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation.
Big time.
But and religion. But I don't care what what church you go to or where you get your faith or how you feel inside. I can tell a person that cares and loves other people and is a good person.
We don't even talk about religion or politics and stuff in elk camp, and I don't
we do touch
remember
on politics a little bit, and I choose to stay quiet.
Good thing.
I don't know about politics.
Hey, but look, and here's where it goes on the political scale with that. I want me and Gilbert are A personalities, right? We're both very strong personalities in our own way, but yet there's a lot of respect, and I know his passion is going to, at times, especially if he gets pissed or angry or if he's got something going on, his passion is going to overflow. And it's just like me sometimes when I feel like there's times, it's like with our wives, right, guys? Like when we know we're wrong and that they're right, it just pisses us off that they're right,
Sure.
That's why Manano's always pissed at me.
So we got to give guys space and grace, right?
Yes.
For them to feel the way that they need to feel, and
but us too. Us too.
100%. 100%.
And
so that's the perfect.
That's the beauty of our group is none of us are set out maliciously to mash one another. You know,
No.
we
Well,
definitely.
there are times.
Yeah, but I mean,
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't
at the
think
end
so.
of it, man, none of us have any malice towards.
I'm gonna tell you what I love.
Yeah,
The
I
ElkBros.
agree with you, Gilbert, man. I'm just I'm not good at I'm not good at staying too serious about some of that stuff, because I think in this world we get angry way too easy over a lot of things, and sometimes we don't want to see the forest for the trees. And
I'm like Chav, man. I'm here to have a good time, only if it's for a short time. But I'm gonna have a good time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm not doing anything that I don't have fun with. I just don't. My life has been that way. I grew up in some turmoil and stuff. Like, I'm not living my life in turmoil. We're gonna have peace and unity, and everybody's gonna love one another, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna fight hell with a water pistol together, have fun, shoot some elk, get it knocked out, work our tails off, and test our metal every day against the elements.
how,
Right?
how important are roles in all of that?
I think the roles are big. I mean, you know, definitely you're the leader of the group. We look to that. You know, and as we evolve in this group, Joe gives us a little more responsibility every year about moving on in our own direction with our elk hunting. Right. So I have felt that coming for years, you know, and that's what I want anyway. I'm a guy who, like Joe said, I'm a natural leader. I naturally want to jump out in front of the bus. You know, when a lot of times I got to choke my chain and choke me back, you know, but that's just me. But I'm definitely a team player, right?
Absolutely.
And the cats we hunt with, brother, like I said, man, I would not want anybody else on my team than Joe, Chav, and them two Venezuelan boys that I would fight hell with a water pistol tomorrow. They posted a deal on VM Hunters of us in a real sacred spot that's straight up sacred to my heart. And I'm like, those are the boys that I ride the river with.
Oh yeah.
They
I'm gonna
are
tell
the-
you. I'm gonna tell you what I love of you guys. I love, you know, seeing Joe coaching us every single minute. He is a coach.
Yes.
He will be coaching you from 3:30, 4 a.m. till 11,
Till
10.
the night we lay our head
Yeah.
down.
Then I love pushing Luis's limits.
Yeah. Look, we're all pushed to the limits up there.
Then I
thought
put
you
there,
smiled.
and then I got Beto's on leash. I got Beto's on leash in the middle of the wood. I freaking Beto. I love that. And then finally, when he finally talks, that's gonna be a lesson for me. That's the ninja Chavez. That's a lesson. If he says something, it's because
Gospel.
it's important. So you gotta listen.
And I want to tell you about, like, you take a look at Chav and I. We've been elk hunting partners now for, this is going to be 40 years, 39 years. And you take a look at our personalities, and I'm the one that is always, let's do this. And Chav is
90 miles
like,
an hour when his hair on fire.
yeah, Chav's like, well, yeah, you make the decision for me, but I'll be right there with you, man. I mean, step for step, he's right there. But yet,
Till a bear comes around, Joe, then he's nowhere to be found. He's like me. Bear gets a pass. My ass is out.
yeah.
Peace.
So, but I think a lot of it is our thought processing. You know, I think there's a respect. I think there's respect. I think there's thought processing. I think there's values and moral systems that have to be in line. And that doesn't mean that they have to be rigid, you know, because
Dynamic,
I think we have all grown because of each other.
Leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Leaps and bounds.
So one of the things I've been wanting to, and I found a couple of two segues there to kind of jump in, and one of them is when we were talking about kind of limits, and then pushing buttons and stuff like that as a joke. But with regards to limits, man, one of the things that tend to happen in hardcore hunts, because it's different when you go meet somebody on a hunt, like say Beto, we go to South Texas, it's just kind of semi-relaxed. You have, good facilities. You're not really putting all that immense effort out there. But when you go on a hunt like we do out in the woods for 10 days and it tests your limits, and it tests your limits on, mentally and physically.
Just waking up in the morning.
Yes.
Freaking 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Freezing to death, getting dressed.
You really get to know somebody.
Go straight to my tent.
When you realize that those limits show a bit more of that person's personality and the way they respond and the way they react to things. And we all react and respond differently. But what I think has been key to this team is the fact that even though we have all seen us at those limits, we have learned how to compensate and, help that person in that situation. We all have a way to and this happens organically. I don't think we planned this, but somehow somebody steps in and calms the situation down, and just kind of keeps levels relaxed and just helps that person in need. And look,
that would be me with Frangelica and Paella.
So, but you get what I mean, right? And so there was, and I'm going to give you a quick example, Joe. Last year, after Manano's kill, we went back to camp, and it was cold, it started snowing, sleet. It was late at night, and we finally got to camp, and I'm like, man, finally, this is a wrap. I was wasted, I was tired, and we were getting to camp to start cooking and all that stuff, and I realized that I lost my phone, and I lost my phone. I must have dropped my phone when we were loading the elk way back there, right? And man, I was just,
which was like probably an hour or so away. Right?
Yeah, and that got me so upset, because it's like my only means of communication with home, all my information, all that stuff. You're in the middle of the woods, and that honestly put me. I was like,
I was pushing his limit. I said,
I was on a limit.
Relax, bro.
I was on a limit at that point. It's like, man, I just, we need to go back. And then it's like, no, we'll go tomorrow. But if we go tomorrow, it's already snowing. It's going to be under snow. We're not going to be able to find it. So, man, talk about being stressed out, right?
Yeah,
so
super stressed.
Joe immediately kind of jumped in and said, come on, man, let's jump on the mule and let's go. But at the same time, it's like, man, I don't want to put Joe in that situation. I hate being in a situation like this. And I was pretty bummed out, and I was negative, man. I was not feeling good. We got out there. I started kicking snow, and we started looking for it.
It was blizzarding on the way over there, man.
I know.
Dude, it was in my mind. So here's the other side of the story. Yeah. In my mind, he's like, I lost my phone, and I'm like, oh, what do you mean, man? What's up with the friggin' phones? Because we were
dumb guy.
Gilbert had just lost his the day before.
Yeah, and Manano was on his. I'm like, we got to get rid of the friggin' phone. I was, so inside, part of you is like just angry because you're frustrated with the situation too, as much as you are. But at the same time, you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and it's like, look, man.
Well, and I pushed his buttons too that evening because I was pissed that I didn't hear from y'all. And I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I could not get any conversation.
That's true.
Chav and I are freaked out, not knowing where you guys are, or Brendan and I. Yeah. Brendan and I are freaked out, not knowing where you guys are, and we're like, God damn, it is really late, and I ain't heard from nobody or whatever, so I'm stressed, and I don't get stressed. But man, look, it's blizzarding out there, and now I'm stressed that my boys are in trouble, and I ain't got no way to talk to them. We got these friggin' Zolio things.
Care, it's love, and so all of that turns into anger, right?
Yeah. So when Luis got there, I tore his ass up,
Yeah. And I was like, freaking, my hands were full. I was carrying a freaking elk down the mountain.
Luis was already like, hey man, I done heard enough of this shit. shit, you know. He goes, we got something else to do. Cap that, dude. I'm not hearing none of that. You know? And I'm like, okay, all right, buddy. Sounds good. And Manano's like, yeah, man, he's really creeped out that he lost his phone. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't know he lost his phone. So, you know, absolutely, we
was
had
like
to
a little
work through
kid
that.
just crying.
We had to work through that, and I eventually apologized, Luis. I said, hey, listen, man,
But
You shouldn't.
and he apologized back. Should have done something.
What I'm trying to get to is like, you know, a couple of things. You started the show talking about, hey man, you know, what does it really take? What are you looking in people and stuff like that? And look, everybody's going to have their limits. Hunts like this are going to test those limits and to show you the core of that person at their worst moments, right? And you know, I think that you understanding that, knowing how that person is in those moments, and knowing how to respond to that is extremely important. Those things need to happen, and you need to learn how to deal with those things out there in the woods, because I think that's, again, back to how Joe and Beto handled the situation during and afterwards, helped me get out of that hole in which I was at the moment because of that stress, which I'm extremely appreciative of, right? So that's important. And I just it's going to happen. And so keep that in mind.
Well, when we got there and we couldn't find the phone, you know, when I saw how much I could see it destroying him inside, you know, and to the point where I felt his pain, and I was like, no, you know, we're not going to give up, man. We can do this, you know, and sometimes it's like we've said with elk hunting, it's like we say with anything. Sometimes it's just one more, man. Just one more time, just one more ridge, just one more effort, just one more hill. And we were actually going back to the bike to leave and head back, because I mean, it's getting to be a dangerous situation because my phone is dying and basically it's pretty much dead. So we had no communication whatsoever. Something happened, and it just something said, and I talk to people about this a lot of times, that feeling, whether it's a spirit talking to you, a sixth sense, I don't know, man, but something said, we'll try again, man. And I was like, bro, let's go look one more time. And we walked back to the same area we'd already been through, and doggone if I didn't see that phone in the snow. I don't know how I did, you know. Yeah. So, but the thing that I want to get out of this is stuff that we have incurred that help us to know each other. This is things that we've gone through that have helped us. But for people trying to figure out a partner, you know, to do that, I think
have some conversations.
Yeah, the only thing you can really have, first of all, you can find your commonalities, right?
Right.
You know, because all of us have a commonality. You can draw a web from one person to the other here, right? On our commonality.
We all love hunting.
Yeah, we all love hunting. We all have this thing about hunting with a bow. We think that elk are just the most majestic, incredible critters. We love camaraderie. That's huge. That's something that we take in. Now, a lot of times I'm like so doggone aggressive that it's like I'm going, right? But this group brings a different kind of commonality, and I think all of us feel what's important to us, and it's gotten to the point where I really, even though I want to get the deal done, I want to see my boys get the deal done, right? Yeah. So it's like if you were talking to somebody and they were talking about, yeah, I'm going to close the deal, you know, and they seem like somebody that's like overly aggressive, sometimes you can mistake passion for negativity, I guess, is something there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I tell that to my teams all the time. You know, I might get a little loud. I say, don't confuse passion with lunacy. I'm not a freaking lunatic. I'm just passionate about what we're doing here, you know, about how we're doing it, about the way we're doing it. And I think, man, we have that in our group, you know. And I think the only way you get that, Joe, and you know, talking about the app on the web and everything,
Right.
you build those commonalities in who you want to find a hunting partner, and then from there you move forward with conversation, and you know, maybe even a meeting somewhere where you meet somebody over a cold one or whatever it may be, glass of tea, but y'all put together a plan, and you know you got commonalities. You know that you know this is a guy that you could possibly ride the river with. I don't know if you go doing, you know, background checks on people. I mean, there's so many safety things out there these days, but I think at the end of the day, you're going to know within about 10 minutes of talking to somebody on the phone where these are the guys that you could possibly see yourself hunting with, man. You know, I still believe in the good human element today. Even though we live in a wicked ass society, I still believe in there are more good people out there than there are bad, Joe.
Well, without a site like ours, where do people find hunting partners? How do they find hunting partners? What would you
hunting with other people? Hunting with other people, you know, bow
Gotta go
shops.
out. Gotta go out.
Go to your word of mouth. Go to your bow shop.
I've met a few people in public land, you know, and actually exchanged phones and kept in touch with them, you know, and, you know, real nice people. I haven't gone out and hunt with them yet, but because I haven't had the need to go out hunting with somebody that I don't know yet. But
I fished at a really high level for a long time, and I had maybe 3 or 4 really good fishing partners. It's like a marriage, Joe. Your hunting partners are almost like a marriage, and you gotta treat it as such. You know, you foster it. You got to put them first a lot of times. So for me, that's the way my hunting brothers are too, man. You know, I said this the other day. We had our yearly meeting at our hunting ranch down there at the Montenegro, and I told these guys that were there, I said, fellas, I'm gonna tell you right now, if there's only 9 guys on the whole ranch, if I didn't like one of you, or I didn't think one of you were of the right ilk, moral compass, I'm out, because I don't do that. You know, these guys are good people. You know, some of them are famous people, you know, that are very good people. And I'm like, I would not be here sitting. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, you know, it's a lot of work. And 3, you get 10 personalities together, you're going to have a whole lot of differences with 10. We got, you know, 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Yeah. Sure. So putting that together, and when you got tons of money involved, things can get a little squirrely. So I'm proud of our group at the Montenegro. Those guys are, you know, they're all guys who are very passionate about hunting. They're very passionate about family, you know, and about moving forward with getting kids involved in what we're doing, and, you know, bringing youth involved. And so I think what you're doing here is creating an opportunity for other hunters to be able to find other hunters that are looking for the same type of hunting partner.
Well,
And I think it's going to be unbelievably cool.
I want them to hear this podcast and find as well. I want them to be able to think like, oh yeah, that might be a good idea, you know. But I found that everywhere I go, and everywhere Chav goes, when we go places, one thing that goes with us is that we're hunters.
Right.
It invariably, it's something that we're wearing, or something that we have on, or something that we talk about, or when we talk about meals. We are hunters, and it's going to come up in the conversation somehow. And I've never been apologetic about that. I've never, it's like religion or politics. It's not something I'm gonna pound somebody with. It's because it's our passion. It's something that's a part of our life. It's something that, you know, I ate it just last night. I ate some just a little while ago.
I ate some just this morning.
Yeah. And
my lunch.
My eggs.
so it starts those conversations. And I think the more that you have those conversations, you're going to see people perk their ears up, and they don't necessarily have to be a hunter, because you remember, Chav, how we met Coach Baca, Larry Baca, man.
Oh yeah.
On an antelope hunt. You know, I found him out hungry. I bumped into
Yeah, I remember that story, Joe. That's awesome. dude.
and I offered him a sandwich and some water, man, and it incurred being a great friendship after that. Chav's buddy Don Citybaca, who never wanted to go hunting after because he had bad experiences with rifle hunting. And then once he bow hunted, it just totally changed things. And we've had people that we've taken with us of similar personalities. So there's places I just tell you where you go. If you want to find people that are like you, then you have to talk about who you are. And
that reminds me, Joe. one of my coaches in my in Venezuela, in my country, he passed away, and he would go and say and shake your hand when he met somebody. He would say, "I'm Pablo Gonzalez." He made it sound like a shot. I'm a hunter.
Right.
I only care about hunting. I don't want to talk about anything else. I'm a hunter.
well, you talk to Guy Duplanche, man, and Guy's like, my wife thinks I'm antisocial. It's just if I'm around people that don't hunt, I don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah.
and Mr. Duplanche is 100% feels like an extrovert if he ain't around guys that are talking about hunting.
Yeah,
and where he
no
lives,
problem
wow.
when he's with them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the one thing I wanted to bring up too is I've been really, really amazed at the connections that I've made, that we've made through
The
social
hunting.
media, and the hunting community with Instagram. Because I tell you what, some of the folks that we've had on, Guy, that we've had on here with us, man. Tony, when we had him on there, I know Travis over in Oregon.
Yep.
We had Sean Dawson right there. We got Keith Esposito. I mean, I could just, Aragon.
Social media.
I could throw out all of these names, man.
It's crazy.
John
right?
over in Santa Fe. I could just throw all these names out, people all over. Jim Huntsman out there. I mean, it's just people that we could take all them guys, and I bet we could have a camp of 50 guys that would just be perfect together the whole friggin' time, because we have that same connection, man. That we're all
Passion.
that same cloth, man. You know what I'm
We've had them all on the live episodes. Man, they just might as well just have their own meeting on the chat.
If you ever met Paul Medell, man, I mean, Paul is us, man. I mean, he's just a grinder that just loves it, that lives it, man, just would fit in. You could tell guys that could walk into any camp, like Gilbert Ornelas. I really think Gilbert could walk in just about any camp and be the life of the party, man. When he gets in there,
I'd try. I guarantee
Everybody loves.
we'd have fun. I promise you. I mean, that's just kind of my personality, though, Joe. I don't meet many strangers. I can talk a leg off a wooden Indian. So
Cole Wilkes. I mean,
Big old Monday inspiration.
Oh, I love it.
We've got a lot of those cool pictures, man. And I just wanted to.
Snort took me up on an offer to come down here and pig hunt with us. I've got several guys that have reached out to me and want to come down, go pig hunting, man. And look, if I haven't gotten back to you on the email, I will. I promise. I had a guy up in Oklahoma the other day that said, "Man, I heard you coming up here for an event with your softball teams. I'd like to come by and shake your hand, and really, I'd like to come pig hunting with you. What's it going to cost? This, that, and other." I mean, it's been unbelievable, the kinship that we found out there.
Well, think of some names out there, man. Mike
Grinders.
Bozarth, when we talked to Mike over there, we got Mike Wilson up in Ogden. I mean, it's so funny. Most of these people I have never shaken a hand with personally.
Right.
Freddie I've never shaken his hand with personally, man.
Like I said,
I feel the same way.
Paul Snower called me on the phone and said, "I'm coming. How much is it, and where do I meet you?"
Paul Snower.
I mean, came and spent some really cool days in elk camp. Luis cooked for him, and I cooked for him. I mean, it was really fun. We had a blast with him.
Why is it that people look at our group and want to come be with a part of our group?
Well, I think everybody wants to be inspired, Joe.
Honestly,
yeah,
we are. I mean, we're not a preset script Beto
real.
go on leash.
Real deal.
I go on leash.
It's real, right?
Real deal, man.
It's the real deal.
And
So-
I think a lot of it has to do, man, because let me tell you what is key to me. I'll tell you what my baseline key is.
Brotherhood.
It's passion, actually, man.
Mhm.
I surround myself with passionate people that are positive, that are not buttholes, that care and are willing. I think all of us are willing to sacrifice. You know, I tease about when I was younger as a hunter, I was a very selfish hunter. I mean, I spend a lot of time away from my family. I get out there, I'd want to go solo, go off. I was just aggressive. I just had to get the kill done, man. That was just it. And I've matured a lot over those years. And, you know, I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very driven by, and you know, we don't all have to be driven like that, but I like to surround myself. You know, the first time that I met Luis, you know, I knew immediately, you know, that I knew that was somebody
Special
that
fella.
Chav was going to like. You know, I go back and it's so funny. I meet people and I would go back and I'd talk to Chav about them. And Chav knew everybody before he ever met everybody, you know, and that was critical to me, because if you have that passion and if we have that values and we're willing to work together and we're willing to grind, we can do any friggin' thing, man. Just if we believe, man, if we believe. And if you're willing to grow, if you're willing to work, if you're willing to take pride in yourself and us as a group, if, you know, it's just, it all goes back to that team type thing that I think we're all athletes in that sense.
Yeah. I tell you what is hilarious, and God has got a huge sense of humor for real. I killed my first bull, okay, and I got him in the back of the truck. His horns are his antlers are displayed in a beautiful way in the back of my truck, and got all our coolers and everything. And I stop at this little gas station. I want to say is in
Wagon Mound, New Mexico.
Yeah, somewhere around there, far away from where we hunt. And anyway, this little fella comes walking up to the truck, man. And I look out there and there's this bus, okay? And it's like a bookmobile, okay?
Exactly.
And I'm like, who is this cat up here by my truck, man? He's checking out my bull elk and everything. And he's looking, and I walk up there and he goes, man, what a bull. That's a nice bull. I said, yeah. He goes, where'd you kill him? Well, I told him where I killed him. And he said, wow. He said, you know, my brother-in-law and them killed a bull up there in that area. And I said, huh? I said, well, who's your brother-in-law? He said, Joe Gillia. I said, Chav? I said, oh my God. I'm like, are you serious? You're Chav. I said, Joe's my guide. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, oh my gosh. He goes, you're Gilbert? I said, that's it. That's me, brother. He's like, oh. So I've never met Chav a day in my life. Heard about him for 5 years. And here I am hunting with Joe. And I meet Chav on a little bitty town at a gas station, and he is driving a daggone bookmobile, okay? And he comes and walks over to So when I tell you people that our listeners, that our group was meant to be, God knew exactly what he was doing when he formed it. Because how do you make a story up like that? Am I lying, Chav? Is that not the first time you and I met?
Yeah.
The mastermind Chav.
I knew this had to be Gilbert. Had to be the big O.
Yeah, he goes, that was Gilbert, you know. So I had to text Joe, man, dude, I met your brother-in-law, you know. It was crazy how that all went off, you know.
And the way it all came together too, because I met Manano a year before our elk hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So basically a year and a half, almost 2 years before he actually went with us the first time.
Yeah, and what people don't know is Manano came to our elk camp the first year with no tag, right?
Not even an OTC tag.
Yeah, had a over-the-counter bear tag, right? And
only bear.
Only bear. And I had a turkey tag.
Yeah, right.
And we were like, I told the boys, I don't care, man. I got to be in them woods, dude. It doesn't matter if I ain't shooting a bull, you know. I'm coming. And So, I mean, that's exactly what we did.
I just want our listeners to really understand something when they do look at this group, because they've just heard all that. And I think they know our dynamic, people that have listened to us long enough. And I think that's why people appreciate this group. We are so different. We are so diverse, different ages, different sizes, different colors, I mean, we got the gamut, man.
Well, so they've heard about what we got in common.
Yeah.
They've heard about our character and our personality.
When you
right?
look at it, you look at me and Chav, who have been together so long, two opposite sides on our personality types, you know, but it really works together. You look at Luis and Manano, and what's so interesting about that relationship is that the things that probably for each one of them irritates them about the other one is the same thing, the reason that they get along so good, because, you know, one of them is very anal and detailed and wants the other one to become a little more anal and detailed. And when the other one's very relaxed and just finds
enjoy the woods and stuff.
And he wants the other one to relax just a little bit. But, you know, and I think that helps balance that so much, because if he was as anal as he was, they would be, but I mean, as much as they would be butting heads, like they would hate each other.
But there's one problem, bro. He's regressing. He's not improving.
And I'm planning to go faster, you know.
And you take a look at Gilbert, man, and Gilbert with his personality, you know, he says, you know, you say that I'm a coach while I'm there, and I think it's because of my skill set that I get that respect like that. But when it comes to leadership, if there's a situation that rises up, because I've been there, I've been in a threatening position, and I know of other people who've been in threatening positions with Gilbert there, and Gilbert takes command of that situation very, very fast. So, you know, I think all of us have incredible leadership qualities. I mean, Chav has been my mentor. You know, in coaching, we kind of switch roles a little bit, and other things in life, it goes the other way. He's been my mentor and has helped me to develop as a person, as a human being so much because of that mentorship. And I think that's the thing. I think if you're going to have a partnership, y'all, it's got to be something where you find value in the other person that's going to help you grow as a person. And I think this is where I want to go with this at the end of this show, is that you don't have, if you're exactly alike, if you're mirror images, you're not going to grow from each other, because there's nothing to teach each other. There's nothing to talk about, right. You know?
Look, I take value, you know, first and foremost, Luis is one of my best friends, right?
Likewise, brother.
I take value in that. I take value in that we talk about things unrelated to hunting if we need advice, right? And it may be some really heavy stuff, right? Maybe career based, maybe even marital based, whatever it may be, spiritually based, whatever it may be. We can confide in one another in that. And those are things that brothers can do, right? So Luis said it a minute ago, it's a brotherhood, and we feel that way. You know, we've talked about what we've had in common and our great character and personalities, and you know, one of the things we haven't talked about is, are there deal breakers for us? Absolutely. You know, we've said this 1,000 times. We don't do buttholes, right? You know, we won't put up with guys that are not contributors to the group, right? You know, we're not going to put up with guys who are outlaws and that are out to break the laws and not show respect for the animals that we hunt. I mean, we're not putting up with those kinds of things. You know, then we talk about, you know, our work ethic and the effort that we put in and the heart that we have. I mean, those things matter to us, our work ethic. These guys know when Big O gets to camp, you know, round is his shape. I might not be, you know, running marathons like my big boy Tucker does and stuff like that. But they know if I get myself in position around one of these animals, that animal's in serious trouble. And I've gotten the skill set now because of the coaching that I've had to be able to call multiple bulls in at multiple times, for not only myself, but someone else. And I have so much confidence in that. And that's not because of me. It's because of the guys that I've been around pushing me forward. And I'm based that way anyway. I'm athletically based, coach based, prove you wrong based. Those are the things that drive me, you know. So what is it that makes it work? Joe, one word is what makes it work. Love. That's what makes it work, Joe. And I say that
time to develop, right, bro?
Yeah, it does. But you know, there's love at first sight too, man. And I'm not just talking about the that you see from a beautiful lady, or you fellas out there that are opposite of that. At the end of the day, man, it is about being able to identify same personality types, right? And then working through all of the processes that are there to figure out whether we can coexist in the woods, and whether we can build a bond between our group that we actually love one another, you know. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, I think love is one of the most powerful things in the world. And when you base relationships on that, no matter whether it's hunting or personal relationships, it can break your heart, and it can make you feel the most powerful sense of gratification that you could ever feel in your life.
Chav,
Very well said, brother.
let me ask you, Chav, what would be deal breakers for you, people that you don't want to be around?
Oh, well, like Gilbert said, buttholes.
Yeah.
Would be the main one.
That's a relative. I mean, that's a relative term to a lot of people. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's
Abstinent.
you know, safety is always a big concern, you know, around camp. Yeah, I would say that the type of person that
Reckless.
isn't really into the hunt itself, and you can tell that by their demeanor out in the field. You know, if you're call calling or bugling, you don't expect to have the person right next to you, you know, gulping down water or unzipping his bag, and you know, not really paying attention to the situation as a whole. And then, of course, if it's not a team player, you know, I mentioned that before. You know, if you fill the tag out and he basically bails on you, you know, he's no help. And of course, an ethical hunter too. You know, like, oh, there's an elk over there, 200 yards. Let's see if I can if I can hit it. You know, and I think coming to camp out of shape and not prepared physically and mentally for the hunt, you know, it'll kind of show up, you know, after a couple of days. And people that just aren't positive, you know, I just can't handle negativity, you know. I don't know how you would determine that on a questionnaire, but I guess there's keywords that you can put out.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can find a guy who's self-entitled. You can find it pretty quick in a few little questions, you know.
Well, it's real easy for people of similar types of personalities to wallow in that kind of negativity, and nobody gets pulled out of it. But
Sometimes you run into a BSer, you know, somebody that has done it all and has and knows it all. And you can easily tell a person like that after talking to him for about 10 minutes. It's like, oh, this guy's, because we've known some guys in the coaching profession that, you know, talk a good game, but when it comes down to it, they really don't know what they're talking about. Full of crap
like a Christmas goose.
Right, exactly. What amazes me is these guys keep getting jobs, and it's like, what? But it happens, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. So I think the way I want to close this out, and we've gone a long way around to get to this, and you got to hear a whole lot about what it means to us. And I think if you're listening to us, it's probably because you are attracted to those types of qualities that we are attracted to. The realness, the passion, the gratitude, the respect. the character, the habits, the goal structures, those certain innate qualities that these guys have from, their childhood on up, are things that have brought us together. And so in that, after going all the way around, I want you to really listen close, in that the best hunting partner for you is what works for you. There is no formula where you go and find, and whoever it is Gilbert likes, or that I like, or Chav likes. You've got to find that person that connects with you, and the rest of that will happen. But if there's a respect, if there is an honor and respect between you, even when it gets tough, because I can tell you, this group right here, there's times when I tell these guys exactly what I think about something that has occurred. And that's because I do care about them, because I want them to be better. And I don't want it to be about, I want them to grow as individuals. I want them to surpass me. That's my goal. I want them to have that. And that's my personal thing. For you, it's what works for you. You have to figure out what kind of hunter you are, what kind of hunter you want to be, and then find somebody who's going to make you better at that, or somebody that you're going to help be better at that. And then that person might actually surpass, and the student sometimes becomes the teacher.
For sure.
So I think that's an important note, and I hope that what we're doing is going to help some of you guys to connect. That's the goal. We want all of y'all to have the exact, incredible, wonderful experience that make our lives together. So
yeah, and that's
well
been
said.
the basis of you putting the Hunting Buddy application together. It's on our website, Joe.
Yep.
And I want everybody to be able to go to ElkBros.com, check that out,
Yep.
use the format that's there to try to help. It's going to be live probably by the time the podcast is out.
yeah,
huh, Joe?
so if you're hearing this, go check it out. Go to the site and check it out.
Yeah, man, you guys have got to figure out what your personalities are and things you're going to have in common, passions, your mentality, values, and beliefs. All of that stuff that, qualities you admire from one another, all of those things are going to come into your decisions on who you're going to hunt with,
If you really go in and actually create a profile, really look me up, the Mafia leader, and you got to see the picture I put up.
Ugly as hell.
Well, Gilbert, why don't you close us out, man, tonight? We're not
do
going to
it,
get any mailbox in tonight. It's been a good one.
Yeah, give me 1 second, Joe. I highly recommend them to go out and look for somebody like Beto. You're gonna need Beto in camp. He's one of the most funniest guys I ever met in my life. So if you find somebody like Beto, you will be
Entertained.
You will be just happy.
Sure. Yeah.
We would not be, we won't have a bad time. And Beto's always good at storytelling time.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We won't have a dull moment. And when you got a guy like Chav in camp, man, he's always going to keep it real and keep you down and honest. And, when Chav talks, he's like E.F. Hutton. Everybody listens.
I would never forget one of us, and I think it was me. We were at camp having dinner, and one of us accidentally bit their tongue, and we're like, "Oh, dang it! Just bit. What happened? Oh man, I just bit my tongue." And man, everybody's like, that sucks.
No, it was really hot. It was
Or
hot.
you got burnt or something like that.
You got burnt.
And then Chav is like, "Yep."
It will continue.
That was his, exactly. Yeah, that's something that will continue to happen.
So matter of fact, straight up, boys. Hard time until
If
it's
he
served.
says something, just freaking listen to him.
Absolutely. Yep. Been my hunting buddy for a long time, and my mentor, and we've got it done on several occasions, and We're so blessed to have one another in our lives. I talked to you about it. I told y'all my one word's love. Hard to, like Joe said, hard to build that in a conversation. But man, you know, it's kind of like us old boys that found their wives. Most of us, no doubt, was love at first sight, and we kind of built off of all that. So you guys, man, before we get too real sappy and all that stuff around here, y'all check out what we got, you know, on our elk hunting page there, and check out Hunting Buddies. I think you guys are going to like it. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, rate, and review us. You got to go to Apple Podcast or iTunes to review, and you can check out more elk hunting content at ElkBros.com. And just a reminder, if any of our listeners would like their question answered on the show, be patient with us because sometimes we run out of time. Just send your questions to info@ElkBros.com. That's INFO at ElkBros.com. Amazing show.
If I may, real quick, Joe, I know we're out of time here, but you know, I just want to bring up a quick conversation I had with my wife the other day. So my wife used to be a classic ballet dancer, right? And she was very pumped that she found online a class online with one of her idols in the ballet world. She couldn't believe herself that she was actually, it's one of those online classes that the teacher has not seen anybody, but she's just given the class and she found the class, and she was just so stoked that she got to do classes online with that person. And then I got to thinking, and when she finished the class, and I told her, I said, you know how you were so pumped about doing a ballet dance with you know, that idol of yours in the ballet world? I said, I get to hunt with the best elk hunters in the world every year. And how cool is that?
For
and
10 days.
And she's like, wow, I never thought of it that way, but it's very cool. She said, it's like, so I just kind of brought it to her. It's like the same way she has that admiration for that dancer is the same way I feel about all you guys.
I appreciate it, Luis, for sure, man.
And you got the privilege to follow the leader after he ate paella. And there's gonna be a gas.
You guys are too much, but I love each one of you, man. Fellas, like we say down here in Texas, husbands, kiss your wives, wives, kiss your husbands, hug your babies, keep your broad head sharp and your powder dry. And we'll see you next week, right here on Blue Collar Elk Hunting.
Peace, brothers.
Amen.
And everybody, here's a little bit of music from our buddy Tony Wintrip.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
I got a whole bag of tricks for 5x5s and 6x6. Whether there's snow or a bit of rain or that mountainous terrain, I got a pair of boots that fit just right, and Phelps calls get them close to my sight. When I pull the string and I watch that carbon hit, I just elk it. Man, I just elk it. I just elk it. I waited 350 days. I watched the wind blowing from all ways, and I watched a path that he walked in the fall. And there's no failure in my head when all I'm tracking is red, with the fist pumped to the sky when the beast is dead. I just elk it. Oh man, I just elk it. I just elk it. Elk it. I just elk it. I creep up on him like a cat. He's long and heavy like a baseball bat. His body's as big as a rodeo bull. I'm a cowboy on his back. I slip the buck knife under his skin. I quarter him up with a big old grin. And I feel the pack with the gold that I'm gonna be eating. I just elk it. Oh man, I just elk it. I just elk it. Now I'm rolling big when I go through town. This rack is turning heads upside down. The cooler's on and he's gonna start chilling on down, down, down. I just elk it. Man, I just elk it. Oh, I just